Ash, you spoke a little bit last year about a transformation within the playing side. Early on in 2018, how do you think that transformation's going?
Yeah, well, it's early days so far, but the signs are pretty positive. Division Two cricket is very different from Division One, and you'd expect the quality to be a little bit less. But so far, top of the league, 3 wins out of 4 matches, and some really good individual performances. And when you touched on the new players, what we have seen is a sort of dovetailing effect of all of the players, really. Some of our experienced players, but some of the new guys. So Rhodes, side bottoms, got wickets. Stone, who not as new as some, but has been out with injury for quite a long period. All putting in key performances to win us matches.
Obviously, you recruited players, you mentioned players like Rhodes. Henry Brooks as well, come out the academy. He's taken the new ball, he's been bowling in the death in one-day cricket. That's another exciting opportunity for him.
Yeah, so I mean the troubles we went through last year, the poor form in RL50 and in the Championship, I guess at the time it's very disappointing, but it leads you to a place where you have to make changes and you have to try new things, and with that comes opportunity. So whether that be for players from the outside, so the recruits such as Hose, Sibley, Rhodes, Sidebottom, but then from within, when you see the likes of Henry Brooks come into the team, play the way he has, with bat and with ball, it's really exciting, because one of your own kids, it reminds me so much of when Chris Wokes first came into the team. He plays with such energy, enjoyment, and he's had some really good results so far. So it's a real positive for the club.
Would it be fair to say that some of them exceeded expectations?
Yeah, I mean the guys from the outside we obviously recruited because we firmly believe they're very good cricketers, the right people for our environment and our dressing room. But certainly, someone like Will Rhodes, for example, probably he'd say not a natural opener. He hasn't opened that much in the past. For the balance of the team, we felt it was the right way to go, and he's paid us back with 100 in the last Championship game to help us win the match, which those sort of performances are key when you reflect back, hopefully at the end of the season. It's always a team effort, but it's the individual performances within that really make the big difference, and delighted for him. We've talked about Henry Brooks, but his rise has just been extraordinary, and we hope it continues. Not too quickly, actually. We don't want England knocking on the door just yet, but again, to see someone of that age to come in and play that sort of cricket at this level is brilliant for the club and brilliant for him.
Would it be fair to say that when you talk about the word transformation, that it might have happened a little bit quicker than you expected, or would that not be fair?
Again, I think because of the results last year, sometimes your hand is forced a little bit. So we had a number of personnel changes last year. I'm sure there will be more again this season. But yeah, that process, due to our form, has probably speeded up a little bit. But that's no bad thing, and hopefully we are starting to see the benefits of some of that now. It is very early days this season. There's a lot to happen, and there's a lot dependent on things like injuries and form. But so far so good.
If results do continue as they are, 3 wins out of 4, top of the county championship, will that speed up your process, or will you just continue on the same path as you initially laid out?
It never ends, really. You set out a plan, and those plans for me always sort of work more over 3 to 5 years than 3 to 5 months. But you're always managing that wheel, the small wheel as well, if you like, which is winning tomorrow and winning the next day. If you get too caught up in the long-term strategy and take your eye off tomorrow, then you can find yourself in some difficulty. But we just keep doing what we're doing. We are always driving forward. We're always trying to win. However it appears on the outside, we want to bring success to this club, and that can be quite a long process, because to recruit the right people and to develop the right culture does take time. But as I say, we're pretty impressed with the early signs.
And with one eye on the future, players like Ed Pollock, Sam Hain, Ryan Sightbottom, they all got new deals. So that's all about the now, but also in the future, almost building a foundation for longer term success. Yeah,
a big part of my role is looking at where we're going, and I guess making sure we have the right people to take us forward. Everyone in this squad has played a part for Warwickshire cricket, whether it be this year or or in the past, and some of them very major parts for Warwickshire cricket. But yeah, it's important that we make sure we keep hold of our best people. You mentioned the likes of Sam Hain. I think he's got a fantastic future ahead of him. And I was delighted that he signed a new contract with us recently. Ed Pollock similarly has really shone in T20 cricket, but we believe he has potential to play in all forms down the line. So these young guys who are, I suppose Sam, Australian by birth or lived most of his life there, but has been involved with us since he was about 14. So we very much feel like he's one of our own, like he's come through our system, and it's great to see him flourish now.
Talking about existing players, of course, talking about transformation and recruiting. Obviously, you can't name names, but you must still be keen to look out into the cricket world and still attract other names to help join this process.
Yeah, and I think everyone does that. I would think around the country, most directors of cricket do that. And again, that you've got to be careful because you need to care for your own. You need to keep an eye on what you've got under your nose, and we've got some very good cricketers here. But it would be silly for me not to be eyes out also, looking at areas where we can strengthen the squad. Cricket's developing all the time also, so we're moving into a bit of unknown really, with perhaps new competitions in 2020. So we need to think about the makeup of that team over the next couple of years, its age profile, which we've changed quite dramatically already, and what skills we need to be the best team in the country. And that's, again, really where we want to be heading, is to be a true cricketing force again in England. And it's something we've been since about 2010. We've been extremely consistent. We had a low year last year, and I guess our jobs is to try and get us back to the top as quick as we can.
You talk about a force in all three formats, and I suppose you can go back to the Dom Sibleys, the Will Rhodes, the Adam Hoses. They can play in all three formats and they can score quickly, so that must be a real attraction to have got them in.
Yeah, I guess when we are recruiting, thinking about the modern game, you're perhaps looking for guys who can play across all formats and have the skills to do that. And those three guys you mentioned certainly can. They all have very bright futures, and they are of the right age profile. And I keep talking about that. Doesn't mean when you're 30 plus then your days are numbered, but we have to be balancing very much winning today and winning tomorrow and winning next year and the year after, and for that you need real balance in how your squad is made up.
It's an even year, and even years after 2010 means there tends to be a Lord's final. Are you excited about the prospect of white ball cricket this year with the team and the depth that you've got?
Well, that's quite a big statement, that, but we have done well in even years. We showed in T20 last year that the second half of that competition played a really exciting brand of cricket, attacking form, and we want to carry that on into 50 over cricket. In the competition so far, we've seen that any side can beat anyone else. Some very good sides in our group, so it is going to be tough. But I think we're excited. I think we're in a better position than we were last year in this competition. But it's early days. But everyone dreams of getting to Lords for that big day. It's a special day in the calendar, and we've been lucky, and I've been lucky personally to experience quite a few of them. But it takes a lot of hard work to get there.
Well, obviously, if you were to get there, or you were to make a statement with such a young team, that kind of settles them down. Perhaps it kind of gets them involved very early on. They're not struggling for anything. They've kind of got that achievement, that kind of bit between their teeth. Yeah,
I think the more these big games these young players can play, that experience will stand them in really good stead, because whenever they fall into that environment again, and when you want to be successful as a side, you hope you experience quite a few of those days. And I guess when you look at, again, recruitment, guys who really step into those challenges and those big days and enjoy them and are successful, that's really what we want here, because they can be really daunting. Packed houses, televised matches, important situations in games, they can put you under a lot of stress, and we really want people who are excited by them, who warm to them, who want to dominate in those situations and win games for Warwickshire.
And finally, like I mentioned before, 3 wins out of 4 in the county championship. Would you say that was par for the course, above par where you thought it was going to be?
It's probably, I would have taken it 3 out of 4 wins. It's actually, I mentioned earlier that perhaps as you'd expect, the quality is not as good as Division 1, but it's a very different sort of cricket. There's a lot of wins. In some respects, it's quite quick cricket, quite aggressive cricket in Division 2. And so I guess we're aware we've got to try and keep winning all the time. 3 out of 4 gives us a really good base to work from. But there's a lot of cricket to be played this season, and we need to make sure we come back into Red Bull cricket, that we understand and recognise the hard work that went into those first 4 matches to get us in those winning positions. And really, that's what Red Bull cricket's about. You need to build success on really solid foundations and tough cricket, and I hope we continue that in the rest of the year.
You talked about hard work, and we've mentioned a lot of the players, but I suppose we should mention the staff, because they're working just as hard behind the scenes. How pleased are you with what they've done and what they've given you at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I'm really happy. We've made some changes to the management team, which is never easy. I think Graham Welsh's return has had an immediate impact with the bowlers. Ian Westwood joining the coaching staff has really helped, and we're keen for him to work a lot on bridging that gap between both development systems and pros and second team and first team. So he spends a lot of time in those different environments. And Jack Murphy, our new trainer, he's probably been the least popular man since the end of last season at the club, but that's because he's done his job really well. He works the guys incredibly hard. They look a fit bunch. We've got a couple of injuries which are difficult to avoid at any time, but generally our guys look in really good shape. And again, that's really important from perspective of getting to that last game of the season. We want our best side available. So far so good. I think Jim Troughton and Jeets are forming a really good relationship as first team coach and captain. Jeets is an inexperienced captain, but really pleased the way he's led the team from the front. And has allowed Jim just to concentrate on the preparation and the off the field stuff. So again, it is early days, but early signs are positive, and we just need to keep running with the plan.
And it seems like you're very busy yourself with this role. You're kind of managing a lot of different aspects. Are you enjoying it personally? Still thriving here at Edgbaston?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Edgbaston's very much like home. I've been in a number of different environments, but when you're here, you spend very little time reflecting on it like that, because you're doing a job. And we're all, as I said earlier, driven to bringing success back to Warwickshire, and that takes a lot of hard work, often takes some tough decisions. They're never personal, but we all have jobs to do, whether that be Robin, who works as our dressing room attendant, or Keith Cook, who's in my opinion the best cricket ops guy I've worked with. Right up to our best players. Everyone's got a role to play in it, and you can have tough days at the office, but if we all pull together, I think we'd be in a good spot.